But ultimately, I feel that Bungie really missed the mark just overall when it came to this alpha. Well, first of all, this alpha wasn't even supposed to be available for the public. This was probably supposed to be kind of like a larger content creator test bed, like that as a content creator for Marathon. I was like, okay, cool, we'll get a chance to play it. And then once they announced that alpha to the public happening, it kind of led people going like, okay, I can sign up for the alpha now, which is great. And then you're going to make it closed and NDA so you couldn't talk about it, but open it up to the public. Like, don't you think leaks are going to happen? And apparently they did expect that to happen. We saw day one when Battlefield Labs went live, leaks started happening. Though reportedly Bungie wasn't too concerned about leaks. They weren't going to like charge or, stress anybody. They knew that leaks were going to happen, but still something like leaks can lead to a really bad impression for people to have, and it could write the game off before they even get a chance to play it. And the whole getting an alpha code thing just in general was pretty much a complete mess. Like even people within our content creator Discord still didn't get codes for whatever reason. And those people were guaranteed to get codes. Like we were told, like, you're going to get a code, you're going to be able to play. Fantastic. Right? Luckily, mine's worked, but a lot of people in that Discord didn't work. And also I know a lot of people where I sent out links saying like, here are your links to give out codes. I gave those links out to people. They weren't able to access the game or got codes. So like what's going on with that whole process? It was a complete mess. And throughout the duration of this playtest, interest of the game just really dwindled down to almost nothing. I mean, I hate to use Twitch as an example, but it is a form of a metric because we didn't have true player count numbers. But you have to scroll quite a ways down on the Twitch directory right now as I'm making the video. Then there's just about 2,000 people watching Marathon. And at the time of making this video, there's only like 25 people streaming it, and the 2,000 are really coming from these two big name streamers like Fallout Plays and stuff. And this game peaked at 500,000 plus people watching like the day of the Marathon reveal and things like that. Like people were really interested in this game, but then as soon as that happened, it quickly dropped off. Like, yeah, then it peaked back up to like just around 40,000 people watching at a concurrent time. But still, it's like, there definitely is a notable drop off when it comes to players' interest in keeping on playing. And I definitely experienced that as well as someone who continued to play that. I just kind of noticed matchmaking times taking a little bit longer, finding the same people in matches and things like that. And just looking at the Steam chart numbers, you can see that it had like a nice little peak right here around 6,000. Again, this is a very closed alpha. Now a whole lot of people got codes, which I think ultimately led to a negative sentiment around this game as well. But you can see how it just kind of kept dropping off and stuff like that. And this is a game that's only going to be lasting a week. And people really dropped off. Like, yeah, that happens with multiplayer shooters, but like this is a pretty sharp drop off when it comes to the interest for this game. And why has there been a massive drop off when it comes to the interest in people playing Marathon and people watching Marathon? I think it really kind of just comes down to, well, the gameplay is just not that exciting. The AI combatants are all just the same type of robots, just sometimes they have different weapons, sometimes they throw a shield up, but they all kind of engage with you, the player, the same kind of way. And yeah, you had like AI events like incursions and things like that kind of go for it, or like HVTs and things like that. But you're just kind of fighting the same bots you would fight in normally, but they're just kind of more gathered in a group, really, and it's the same type of engagements. You just kind of stand your ground and shoot. And this is coming from Bungie, the people who made Halo and Destiny, some of the most engaging PvE stuff that I've ever seen within a shooter. Like, for example, when I'm talking about variety for the AI, I'm thinking like, think of Destiny, you have like the Thrall, who are just like these mindless drones who just keep running, trying to melee you. It's a different type of engagement you have to worry about. You're always on the back foot trying to step back. Or think of like Halo with like Jackal snipers. You have them like on the rooftops and being really stealthy and sneaky, and you have to like try to figure out the different elevation points where they might be. Or even like bigger characters like hunters, where you kind of utilize movement to kind of bait them into doing like a melee animation to shoot them in the back. It's just different ways to engage with the AI, where in this game, it just feels like all the AI are just kind of like the same thing. You basically just stand behind some cover and shoot. I would also say that the sense of progression just really wasn't there with Marathon right now. If I can show you, for example, right here, that if I go into my factions, you can see I have Cyber Acme already completely maxed out with the priority contracts already maxed out right there, like day one, basically, when I started playing this. So I don't really have any other kind of contracts or things to do with them. But look at my upgrades here. Like, okay, well, at the time of making this video, they actually did say they were going to unlock the skill trees, and well, they just did. But take my word for it, I had like just these two unlocked right here for Cyber Acme, and I think this one as well. When it came to like new caloric as well, again, like the visuals, I'm not gonna sell what I'm talking about because they literally just updated this game to unlock everything. But I think I had like one unlock in here, and then also with the other faction for Traxxas, I don't think I had any unlocks for this one right here. And it's all because it's tied to different types of materials that you find within the world. The big thing being like synthetic rubber being very difficult to find, which is the key aspect to be able to expand your vault. And you need a decent sized vault to hold all these materials because it's going to be tied to your progression. So when your vault's really small and you can't hold that many materials, it really holds back progression. And Bungie mentioned this as well, where they said that they found a lot of people were progressing through the contracts just fine, but going up through that skill tree, not so much. Another thing I really feel like needs to be updated and changed to kind of help out with the player experience with this game is the fact that the UI just really isn't that great. What I mean by UI is like these different types of attachments and like different type of shield things, and also the cores and the implants over here. That doesn't really like visually tell you like how different things are, because there are different implants, but they all look the same. Like you have a red implant, orange one, and a yellow one. But you have to really kind of remember which one does. And maybe that's a be part of me of like just being a player who like has a bit of a skill gap with that. But for the most part, like I keep forgetting like, hey, what are my core abilities? What are my implant abilities again? I don't really remember, unless it's something significant like a reinforced shield one. Like you'd have like over here. But then again, a reinforced shield is really useful, but looks exactly the same as this shield right here, which is not reinforced. So it's just kind of little things like that I think really could help out when it comes to the visual distinction, like what kind of upgrades does my character have, because I keep forgetting because they all look the same. Back on the factions kind of thing, I found myself really doing a lot of skipping through a lot of the narratives when it comes to like these priority contracts and stuff, because for the most part, when you have a contract and you get some dialogue in it, they kind of just like say the same thing over and over again, being like, well, you're quite the mercenary. You're doing something quite special for us. Looks like you kind of made everyone else's day a bad time. Looks like you could be a very useful resource for us in the future to advance our goals. Make sure if you want to go do that, that you go out and do the thing that we want you to do. And then it's basically that repeated over and over again. There's really no lead to like a different type of story or progression, or again kind of like beyond what you're immediately doing in the game. They don't really give a sense of like building out the world, which I think is kind of the point of having like these different faction characters that kind of have this type of dialogue. I just found myself skipping through it because it was like, there's nothing there. And honestly, I would kind of like to see a complete rework when it comes to leveling up your factions and your character and things like that, and reusing these materials in the game right here in a completely different way, where I think like the best way to utilize these materials would be a way to have like a crafting system within the game, so that you can like make like different type of attachments, or grind your way to get like a blue tier, I don't know, a rail for your weapon or something like that, which we'll get into later when it comes to attachments for this game. And then basically what I would do is like have these different types of contracts for your different factions, have them just give them like upgrade points, right? Instead of having them be tied to different types of materials, which would give the purpose to the materials in the world, right, to pick up. But like I said, the synthetic rubber was so rare to find. Like that could be tweaked and stuff like that, but it's going to happen again where there's going to be some super rare material that's hard to find that just block you from being able to progress within the game. They can feel like you're actually progressing and improving in the game by playing it. Like I said, I have 40 hours put into this game. I'm level 54, and I basically unlocked nothing when it came to playing this game. And I know Arc Raiders is doing something kind of similar, where like you earn like upgrade points, and you use those upgrade points to be able to progress your character into some kind of skill tree kind of situation. I didn't get a chance to play Arc Raiders. Hey, come on, Embark, get your boy a code next time. Come on, man. Now, I don't believe this is a thing with a marathon, but it definitely should be if you're going to maintain the 3-team aspects, which is not going to change at all before launch. It's too soon for that kind of drastic of a change. And for what we heard from playtesters who people have had a chance to play solo, it's not that funny. There are a lot of third-partying happens and stuff like that, so it's not really that enjoyable of an experience to do solo. But if you make players have a better experience solo queuing, say like with what Arc Raiders is doing, where it allows players who are solo queuing to match with other solo queues in priority. Now, it won't make it so then you will never match against a full team, because that's a big issue when it comes to a game like this, is that since you have to have a team of 3 right here, that you need to be able to fill in these spots in an even fair way, so then like communication, which is crucial for a game like this, doesn't become overpowered, which definitely can be the case. And as this game, if you're trying to appeal to the casual audience, a big amount of people who are casuals just want to hop on and play. They coordinating with your friends and trying to get other people to spend 40, 50 bucks possibly with this game to jump in and play is a big ask, and it's a big barrier of entry. And relying on other teammates to work directly with you and match with you constantly is very difficult. Now, luckily, within my experience of solo queuing within this game, I was able to find people who wanted to party up and play, and these were like decent players. That's because this is a closed alpha. You get a certain type of player when it comes to like people actively searching for codes to get into, like going into a Discord to randomly hopefully get a code, or like watching a Twitch streamer or something like that. That's a pretty specific type of player, right? Someone who'd be much more engaged, someone who'd be much more willing to cooperate and make proper decisions while playing. Now, if we open this up to the public, there's going to be a lot of baby buffaloes out there not understanding how to play the game, and you're going to die, you're going to screw over your team, you're going to be put at severe disadvantages of 2v3s, 1v3s constantly. So if you have a solo queue option, I think that would be huge, where it allows people to still match in those teams of 3, but everyone in the lobby is a solo queue player, making it so then it kind of just evens out the playing field a little bit, and also kind of helps out on the ease of like concern, right? Because the big thing is like investing into like loot and being able to, you know, upgrade your character that way, which is something I think we need to talk about as well. When it comes to the looting side of things, I really do feel like there needs to be a security box in this game, where basically it's an element where you can put like an X amount of items, or I think it's usually an X amount of square size things, into a box where that if you do die, you're able to still bring that back to your home base. You don't lose it, right? Which I think is something that's going to be, I think it's something that's needed. If you're going to make a casual extraction shooter, you need to have a little bit of a safeguard for people who like really grind out the game to get really good stuff, right? Say for example, like I play with my buddy Pro Ace Joker, he got a gold implant, which from just like a supply drop, super rare item, super hard to find, right? In like the 40 hours I've put into this game, never found a gold at all. So then he put it onto his character. We jumped to the next round, died right away, just because, you know, sometimes you just get PvP'd, and, you know, it's unfortunate circumstances kind of thing. That's what happens. It's an extraction shooter. It's part of the game, right? But the fact that like you can put like 40 hours into the game and maybe get a gold and then just lose it the next game, which, yeah, I get, it's like the idea of the extraction shooter, but if you're trying to make a casual extraction shooter, that's a kind of a casual element to kind of have like insurance or something like that, to where you wouldn't lose that awesome gear that you earned. And I don't really feel like that'd be a very game breaking thing to allow just one item, I'd say, to have it be like a secure item, be it like one gold implant or gold backpack or something like that, because those are really hard to find, right? Maybe this will be different when it comes to the marathon map, which is, I've heard, to be like the high tier kind of map, right? But then I don't really expect a whole lot of players to go into that. That's kind of more like a high tier end thing, where like you need to have high coordination with teammates to do that. Kind of almost like a raid in Destiny, and not very many people play raids in Destiny. It's a very small amount. So the core experience is there in Marathon right now, and I think it's not really appealing to the casual audience that they're wanting to grab for. It's a little too hardcore for the casuals, and not hardcore enough for the hardcore Tarkov crazies out there. And then I want to talk about the attachments. This is something that just needs to be completely changed within the game, because when you go into your loadout here and say like you want to trade out some attachments or things like that, you end up just having to dismantle everything, right? Now, for the most part, the greens for your that fits on a sniper rifle is the same one attachment kind of thing. But it made it sound like there was so much more customization you could do within this game when it comes to your weapons to really kind of play around and tinker with things. But you can't do that, because once the attachment goes onto your gun, it's permanently there. I'm not able to remove it. Say like if this, like some purple attachments on some weapons here, like for this CE tactical sidearm, I have some purple attachments on this weapon. But say if I find a gold and I want maybe to keep one of the purple attachments because it's super rare, super hard to find, that's just going to be gone forever. Now, Bungie did state that they are looking to change it, find a way to kind of tax the player when it comes to removing attachments, which I'm totally fine with that. I think that would be the perfect way to do it, because I think just freely swapping attachments, you would just find metaguns all over the floor all the time, and it just wouldn't really feel like you're kind of progressing your weapons as well, because you need that carrot at the end of the stick. And I understand it's an attempt to try to control the loot table, so then like PvP isn't just like the most optimal thing you can do, which kind of is the almost optimal way to upgrade your character within the game right now. So Bungie really has a long way to go with this game. So does it need to be delayed? Honestly, at this point, I would say yes. Like, yes, it is a slice of the game. It is an alpha, but I think this is the core experience that you're going to get when you jump into Marathon. We're 5 months away from launch. Not a whole lot is going to be able to be changed. Again, like Bungie keeps holding that ace up their sleeve when it comes to the Marathon map. It's supposed to be the big, cool, amazing thing that make people want to jump in and play, almost raid-like mechanics in a way. But then again, I do feel like it's going to be a super high-end type of engagement for a player that not very many people are going to have the opportunity to really get into that. So you need to have the base gameplay of like jumping around in Dire Marsh, jumping around in Perimeter, and like the third map that they haven't showcased yet. That's the core experience. That needs to be more engaging. You need to have more things to do within the world. Say, because like right now, I'm already kind of starting to get a little tired of playing this game. And I'm only like 30 hours into it, 40 hours into it. And like, I can only do so many supply drops. I can only do so many HVTs and so many incursions before it just kind of becomes the same thing and repetitive over and over again. It just needs more stuff. It needs more things to do to keep the game more interesting, more active, and like give a player an easier sense of progression and things like that. So ultimately, I really do feel that this game needs another year. It needs another year when it comes to adding more activities, providing even just like some form of customization for the characters, because it sounds like it'd just be like overall skins kind of thing, which is all right. I'm not too big on customization, but it's definitely a thing. And also just like the story. There is no story within this game right now. The biggest story element I ever saw was like Active online posted a video of him like finding an audio log from a person who's just like, you can take my bones, but you can't take my freedom kind of thing. And it's like, okay, that was cool. That's like, something that's showcasing something outside of the immediate gameplay, like showing a case in a bigger world, but we're just not really getting that in the game right now. And so I'm just don't really have high hopes for this game. This game doesn't really feel like a game that's like, oh my god, you need to jump in and play this. That's what I felt like with Helldivers, right? That's why I was like, guys, it's $40. I understand, but trust me, you're gonna want to play Helldivers. And everyone I know who's playing it, we're like, yeah, that's a must-play, awesome multiplayer. I guess to call it an extraction shooter in a way. Not really getting that with Marathon. I'm getting a lot of mixed reviews. People going like, yeah, it's good, but needs some work. And people just outright hating it. And of course, there are a lot of people out there who just want to see this game fail because it's Bungie, because they've been wronged from playing Destiny for too many years. But I can tell you, there is something there with Marathon. The core gameplay of experience, of the moment-to-moment gameplay is fun. Extracting out with loot, be able to take out teams and stuff like that. Super high highs, you get to super low lows when you die a bunch of times. But that comes with extraction shooter, and that's what makes it really fun. And this is a rather engaging type of game, and I do feel like there is something there that could be very fun for a lot of people out there. I just feel like there isn't just enough of it to maintain people's attention. I've heard this from other content creators who got a chance to play the game early. They're like, yeah, we played a lot of the same maps, and after like so many times of playing it, that, yeah, I kind of started getting a little stale, a little bored. Already kind of knew the map, that's the back of my hand after a few times of playing. But those are my thoughts on Marathon. What are you guys' thoughts on Marathon? Let me know in the comments down below. If you made it this far in the video, how about let's give it a yellow square for Marathon. If you guys made it to the end to showcase who the real ones are in the comments out there. If you missed any content from me recently, check out these videos right here. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.